Did you know that the Bible speaks about baseball? Gotta love that. In fact, I found two places where we read about baseball in the Bible. Genesis 1 and John 1. Both begin with, in the big inning. Okay, so maybe it says in the beginning. But you get the point. It's a corny joke, but it tells us, it draws our attention to the beginning. And we are at the beginning right now of a short series of sermons, 5 sermons in all, from the first 11 chapters of the book of Genesis. We'll be sharing with you, Chris and I, through these devotionals from the book of Genesis. And today, I want to revisit the first 4 verses of the book of Genesis. As Chris read them for us yesterday and shared in worship yesterday, the Bible begins with these words. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. You see, in the beginning of the Bible, we read about the formless void. Some might call it chaos. We read that before anything was, God is. And God was in the beginning, not just sitting back watching, but actively creating. This God that we worship, this God that we serve, this God that you and I have an opportunity to know in a personal and saving way, is the God of the universe, the God who created all that was and is and ever will be. And what does it say about this God? That even in the face of darkness, God brings forth light. And so we want to emphasize that today, especially today. January 4th, it's near the beginning of another new year. And the last year, my goodness, we've all joked about it. Some of it not funny, some of it not joking. But it was a challenging year. It was a difficult year for many of us. There was darkness all over the place. We saw darkness clearly in the pandemic. So many people afflicted with this dreaded virus. So many people succumbed to it. So many deaths. So much misery. The economic impact of it, in addition. There was so much darkness that we relate to the COVID-19 virus. But that wasn't all of it. There was the economic, the financial darkness. There was the political darkness. As we saw our country here in the United States just torn apart, as we experienced neighbors against neighbors, people acting out violently over one candidate or the other. It was dark. And even as we are 16 days from the inauguration and hopefully with a peaceful transition of power to come, but we're not even sure of that. There is darkness that is still pervasive in our world. And if that's not enough, let's not overlook, and we can never forget, the darkness of racial injustice. That scab was ripped off our wound this past year, and we can't afford to go back to the way things were. We need to be bearers of light, people who speak out for justice, people who offer a voice to those who otherwise might have no voice. There's darkness all around, but friends, that's not the end of the story. For God did not leave us in darkness, but rather God brought forth light, and the light was good. He says this, we read this in the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him. They're talking about Jesus here. And without him, not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life. And the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness. This is John 1:5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. Friends, I don't know what 2021 is going to hold, and after this past year with all its surprises, we might be foolish to try to predict. But this much I know, that God who created the heavens and the earth, God who created that beautiful full moon we experienced last week, God who hung the stars in the sky, who breathed life into your body and mind, that God who created us still loves us and still shines his light in you and me and in our world. That light shines in us and through us for all the world to see. Friends, I have great hope for 2021. I hope that you and I together will embrace the light. We'll embrace that personal and saving relationship that God has offered to you and me through his son, Jesus Christ. I hope that we will be bearers of the light in the darkest corners of our world. Friends, I hope that you'll join Chris and I for worship each Sunday in January and these daily devotionals Monday through Saturday. And I hope that you may know the peace of God. May God be with you until we meet again.